Good morning, evening, afternoon. I am Tatocat. Welcome to my channel. Today we are playing Echoes, a Lucid9 fan game. Previously, after Rui found Yama, things were not as expected. He was basically a face and attached to all this metal stuff and liquid terror, as she called it. And she was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And Kosuke's like, it's Project Aurora or whatever, and that is where we left off. I didn't skip anything, did I? Yes, the access to a decent shovel. Okay. Follow me, please. Rui Hayata, you have been chosen from among the masses today to take up a position of great significance. By standing here, you have proven yourself worthy of defending the Way Forward Corporation's reputation, property, and influence by any means necessary. Do you understand? I understand. I understand. As a tenured operative of the Special Services Division, you will work with much like yourself in order to shoulder the burden of this immense responsibility. You will conduct yourself without the influence of individual morality and hereby cite your pledge to serve, to raise above judgment, and willingly give yourself to the cause of altruism and human progress, so cemented in minds and souls of our own. Do you understand? I understand. I understand. If necessary, you will raise arms against those who threaten our search for answers to the ailments and limitations of humanity. Above all, you hereby abandon your obligations to unilaterally observe and conform to the laws of nature, humanity, and society, should they perpetuate only anguish and hardship. From this day forward, you shall remain silent, offering your very life as collateral should you fail to perform your duties to the Way Forward Corporation or disclose what you have learned here to the undeserving masses to whom this great knowledge is unknown and would be wasted upon. You have such faith in the masses, Kosuke. Do you understand and accept the duties and responsibilities you have been chosen to fulfill? Does that mean if I feel like you are in the way, I can kill you and you'll be like, yes, I understand? Because if so, I have plans, dude. I will never. What is this? What? There's nothing. It says nothing. Ah! Did I miss a flashy thing? Nope. I was plotting Kosuke's murder. I was worried that I missed something. Doesn't matter which one of these I pick. Eeny, meeny, gypsy, ooh, fumbleini. Okay, an achievement has been unlocked. Awesome sauce. Then Then by the authority granted to me by the Way Forward Corporation and its board of directors, I hereby grant you Rui Hayata tenure as an operative of this Special Services Division. Oh, okay, it's flashing. I have to click on it. Is it telling me my achievement? Do I get a picture? Tenure! I got stuff for that. Become a tenured operative of the Way Forward Corporation Special Services Division. I got 10 AP for that. I don't know what AP is. I'm sure I'll figure it out. I got a mission achieved, mission achievement. More mission achievements. Mission. Reputation. Ooh. A competent. You weren't supposed to do that. I love anything that's like, why'd you do that? I want that achievement. It's still blinking. Let's get underway. Whoa. Oh my. Operative Lucid9. Love that. Oh, this is happening. What is this? I don't know who this... I don't know what that means. To me, that just looks like somebody important is talking, and I don't know if that symbol belongs to a person. I took the liberty of reading your most recent report, albeit against my better judgments. I thought so. While your initial proposal was dubious at best, you managed the situation quite well. It couldn't have been easy to convince Hayata to conform to protocol. I read as totes. I had totes, man. Totes had it under control. I've had the tools to convince her at my disposal for quite some time. The real challenge came from belaying the significance of Ishimoto's modifications. Belying. If your subordinates had transferred him to me in a slightly less dilapidated state, perhaps she wouldn't have reacted so strongly. If your subordinate read that, and if you had monitored your test subjects more closely, perhaps my subordinates wouldn't have had to close down an entire school. And if I stop hitting the mic, that sound wouldn't happen for you guys. And if you had monitored your tests, I've read that already twice. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't your subordinates specialize in monitoring people? Enough. How dare you throw logic at my face, you peasant. We've all had to make our concessions for the sake of public order. Ruminating upon the services knows ruminating upon them serves no purpose. Agreed. Has DCIS gathered any information from District 6? Multiple agents have reported back with video footage. Video footage of what? As it stands, citizen unrest is intensifying to a point where it may spread beyond the district. Despite Black Star's haste in establishing a quarantine zone around Block 307, the underclass continues to dispute their legitimate authority. Some are even going so far as to blame them for the recent outbreak. Every population has its fringe believers, even in claims that can be disproven easily. You speak of this rumor as if its existence reflects our abilities to keep the peace. The Hinmen may have fallen on hard times, but wealth alone does not dictate intelligence. They must see that our presence is justified. I doubt that they would forget so easily what life was like in their district before we arrived to establish order. And that's what worries me. The indictment, The indictment is far from plausible, to be sure, but it bodes ill nonetheless. Your reckless use of lethal force has not gone unnoticed, most so among those who have lost friends and family members to the actions of your corporation's officers. You've already earned these people's hatred. As long as their spirits remain intact, they'll convey whatever rhetoric suits their agenda best. Veritable or otherwise. This is not a threat, but if you continue on this path, you may find that your use of logic is about as worthless to them as their lives are to you. You're certainly eager to play the part of the presumptuous one. There's this biblical proverb that's used sparingly in the West. Something about an archaic method of execution. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Are you familiar with it? Enough to see the irony in it being regurgitated by the woman who lives in the glass house. Have I got the voices mixed up? I was just like using, I don't know who's in charge of Kazuhaya Combine. I used the wrong voice. Sorry. I mean, my voice doesn't go very deep anyways. Enough to see the only in it being regurgitated by the woman who lives in a glass house. So I guess I should change up the Kazahaya Combine leader's voice. Can Isamu not already be linked to one? Well, you pundits on the national news network boast about border security and the number of trespassers the ODA managed to neutralize. Your citizens are smuggling themselves out of the country through an ever-expanding network of black zone and breach points. The terrorists at our doorstep are certainly more than content to help them escape your grasp. And how will you respond? Will you stoke more hatred against these dissidents and send your critics to be re-educated? Zaragato da? Did I say that right? Yeah, Zaragato da. Could the two of you kindly cease your bickering sometime within the next half hour? If you're really this hellbent on twisting the blade, I lack the physical means to prevent you from doing so. But you do far better to control the issues at your doorstep beforehand. No, you're correct. As satisfying as it might be calling your Bugaisha ways into question can wait. I know your corporation intends to address the developing epidemic. As for the Black Zone, DCIS will shut them down when they next come to their senses. And what of you? Will you allow your men to continue brutalizing civilians in the meantime? I will continue to punish all those within my ranks who failed to conduct themselves with honor. But if you truly want us to keep more criminals alive, I suppose I can order my troops to switch to non-penetrative munitions and aim for their limbs. The insurgency is a different matter, one that I will send my negotiators to address. If Limnisgate maintains its stance on weapon control, you must have realized by now that my men are hopelessly outgunned as a result of complying with your terms. Surely, it would be reasonable to treat acts of domestic terror as an exception to our agreement. I'll arrange a meeting. Perhaps we can determine how much honor your men have then. In the interest, we'll need to pacify the bottom feeders supporting this liberation front. is a vaccine for the novel flu in development. It is. However, our head epidemiologist in the region reports that its development interval will not be sufficient to mitigate the pathogens spread. If we're lucky, a vaccine will be available within 6 to 9 months. That is, if we can find a means of overcoming the RNA-mediated antigen shedding. You be wise to omit that from the official records. DCIS has already demonstrated an abundance of patience in its dealings with your so-called Special Services Division. An uncomfortable, if cognate assertion, but I concur. In the meantime, we have enough serum stockpiled to keep the residents of the zone from developing more severe symptoms. For now, at least. Judging from projections, our own resources, and faculties might not remain sufficient for long. If you're requesting our assistance, you must have some incentive in mind. Of course. I assume you'll find this incentive to be quite capable of destroying everything. I mean, that may not be my plan. I haven't decided yet. You're doing okay, operative? I don't know who this is. After a good 20 minutes of complete silence and my new accommodations, a muffled voice calls out to me from beyond the doorway. I look up from the bottle of hard liquor in my hand, only to come face to face with the cell's commander. Don't tell me you're going to finish that entire thing in one sitting. As dazed and stupid as I might feel at the moment, I still have enough judgment to tell the expression of concern on her face is genuine. At least, judging by the remaining judgment I have left to judge. Honestly, I'm too fucking tired to fake anything at this point. Afraid I'm going to need some more practice before I can do that. Must be quite expensive. It must be quite the expensive thing to practice. The commander gestures towards a nearby couch. May I? I'm not in a position to tell you otherwise, ma'am. Everyone needs a moment or two to themselves, now and then. Operative. I'm not in a position to tell you otherwise. Oh, you got really close for a second. Where is the couch? Oh, over here. Why are you so close? If I am here on this bed, why are you close to me now? You leaning in? How are you holding up? Oh, I get a choice. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I'm just grateful that Yama's in one piece. It seems like the SSD were the only ones who cared about bringing him back. all things considered, I've been through a lot worse. Not that I don't appreciate the concern. If you're expecting me to hold up until this clusterfuck is blown over, you're going to be disappointed. He is in one piece, I guess. Technically, he's kind of in one piece. He seems to be actually in a lot of pieces. But yeah. No one else cared to bring him back, so I guess this... No, I didn't mean to choose that one. I guess this one. I'm just grateful that Yama is in one piece. Seems like the SSD were the only ones who cared about bringing him back. Amy's attitude towards you has increased to 25. See, I have no problems with her so far, so that's okay. I think you're selling yourself short, operative. You care enough to stay by his side for a decade. When it came down to it, we were just doing our jobs. Your jobs. The commander nods. It might not seem like it, but that kid's a source of hope for a lot of us. Proof that things could get better someday. I take another sip from the bottle in my hand. Wish I shared your optimism. It certainly made a lot of bad situations easier to deal with. When you're lining up a shot, however, seeing the good in everything is going to make pulling that trigger a hell of a lot harder. Sure did for me, but a couple of years back, the top brass decided to go easy on me and give me a promotion. So, here I am. Working a desk job while operatives like you are out risking your lives to protect this corporation and the people itself. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel a bit bad about it. You helped him when he needed someone, ma'am. I still appreciate what you did for him. Doesn't matter one bit to me if you were sitting at a desk when you did it. The commander sends me a warm smile before standing back up. It's good to finally have you with us, 9. And I really do mean that. When you're ready, I'd like to show you around the base. Since you'll need to be familiar with the equipment around here before we send you on a mission, I'm thinking right now is a good time as any. You're planning on showing me some more weird stuff, aren't you? The cell commander chuckles as I follow her into the hallway. So Rui is sober enough to do this. Okay. Tired, not drunk. Got it. No, weirder than you're used to. So we did see some pretty weird stuff. Ooh, this looks bassy and shiny. Like, I feel like I would be hazardous in this area. Like, just trip over this. Boom. Or trip over this. Stumble. Trip over this. step backwards, trip this, and then fall back, and then smack the back of my head. That is how I would, or trip over this, stumble back on this, try to catch my balance, and then trip right here, and then fall into this. That is what would happen to me. Well, hopefully Rui doesn't have the same fate as I would have had in this tour. We'll see how it goes in the next episode.